Hey, folks, here we are. It's another day in the neighborhood. What a great day it is. I think I have all my cameras finally working again. It's been amazing. The things that I find out about myself and how much I really don't know about cameras and video production, but I am truly learning every day that I work at this. Hey, I'm Tom Young, and I'm here for AnchorFM.com podcast called Money Shifts and the Family Money Farm Group, which is a Facebook Live presentation. I hope you caught my radio show yesterday morning. It is recorded on my page, my Tom Young, the Facebook page. It was a great radio show with Eddie Crow and myself talking about identity and how to find your way to success. And we're gonna take a little bit of detour today off of that road. And what I want to do is I want to show you, see if I can get you to accept and understand what your real potential is, then I think I can raise your belief and your expectation. So I'm going to do a little mathematical presentation today, and we're going to raise your sights a little bit and show you what truly can be accomplished over a lifetime, and how much money that you're actually going to lose to other entities and other people. We start every presentation with a prayer for everybody in the world, the China virus that has gone around the world and touched everybody everywhere in some way or another. So our prayers go out for those who have lost loved ones, the loved ones who have been lost, that the Lord would open his arms and gather them into his kingdom of heaven above. We want to add to that our prayers for the people in Ukraine and what is going on over there, this war between Russia and Ukraine. I have not seen anything in my mind that tells me the purpose or why it happened or that type of thing. It really is dumbfounding to look at it and see what's going on and not know the real reason why that this happened. But our prayers go out for all those people. In Jesus' name we pray. You know, I like quotes. I start every day with quotes, and we do the same thing today. Only now we're going to talk about John Wooden. John Wooden was born in 1910, a keen student of the game and a master motivator. John Wooden was one of the greatest coaches in college basketball history. He led his team at the University of California at Los Angeles to a record 10 NCAA championships. As a player at Purdue University, Wooden earned All-American honors in 1930, 1931, and 1932. He coached high school basketball before serving in the U.S. Navy during World War II. After the war, he became head basketball coach and athletic director at Indiana State Teachers College. He was appointed head coach at the UCLA in 1948. At UCLA, he parlayed the talent of such stars as Lou Alcindor, later Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Gail Goodrich, Bill Walton, and a virtual college basketball dynasty. His team won a record 7 straight NCAA championships from 1967 to 1973. From 1971 to 74, UCLA won 88 consecutive games, a college basketball record. John Wooden is the only person named to the Basketball Hall of Fame as both a player and a coach. Quote from John Wooden: "Things turn out best for the people who make the best of the way things turn out." That is profoundly interesting. We'll get here some more of John Wooden's quotes as we go along, but there's today's quote. And John Wooden, very well-known collegiate coach, basketball, etc. But it's amazing. Now, I want to get into today and explain a little bit what I want to do. It's not going to be a long presentation. I'm going to share my screen here, and hopefully it's going to work. But we're going to take a 35-year presentation, 35-year time period. You're 30 years old today. you've gone to college, maybe yes, no, but at age 30, you're making $100,000 a year income. And we're simply going to project that into 35 years to your age 65 and to see how much money is actually going to pass through your fingers and potentially how much you could hang on to it at the end. Remember, the average 65-year-old today, the average 65-year-old has a struggle putting their hands on $60,000. So that's from a lifetime of savings. So now we're going to go in here and I'm gonna share my screen. Hopefully this is going to work. Share the screen. Heads up. And where is it at now? Let's find it. Down here. And there it is there. So there is the screen. Let me share it and let me bring it back up. So there is the screen. Let me make adjustments, make my screen larger. And oh wow, it's doing some crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. Sharing your screen. So where is what I want to share with you? Where did it go? There it is. Okay. Hopefully you can see this and what we're talking about. But it's really laid out in a way, and I'm gonna make it bigger. That doesn't work. Okay. Come on. Let's get this thing done and make it right. We're gonna make it bigger. And we're going to move it around on the screen. So hopefully you can read this. So this is the 30-year, 5-year projection. You have $100,000 a year income. You started with $50,000 in savings. Your income increase, we're going to use the historical inflation average of the federal government, not counting the last 2 years where it was 8%, but the average is around 3%. So we're going to look long-term at 3% income growth. And here's the magic idea. Let's assume that you get to save 100% of your paycheck. So the $100,000 a year is all going into savings, and you have other sources to pay your everyday expenses, but we're going to plug those in. So that tells me at age 65, you'd have $14,462,104. That is amazing. So that tells me that over the next 35 years, $14,462,000 are going to pass through your fingers. Now, we know we got to pay income taxes. So I'm going to plug in a tax rate at an average of 25%. So that includes federal, it's state, and whatever. Yours may be a little bit more, a little bit less, but I'm going to use 25%. And all of a sudden, our cost, total tax, is $1,511,000, but opportunity cost on that money takes it to $3,546,000. So we've gone from $14,662,000 down to $10,915,000. So we basically lost almost $4 million of future value on income taxes. Now we're going to take debt payments. And the average debt cost in America, the average per family is 34.5 cents. And I pumped this in here at 34 cents on the dollar. So we've lost another $2,055,000, or with opportunity costs, that interest you could have earned on the dollars that you lost is $4,823,000. So now our future value is down to $6,092,000. So you see what's happening? Now our lifestyle is going to kick in, and our lifestyle runs around 25 to 35% of our income. So I'm going to include that in there, and that could include your mortgage payment, et cetera. So now we're down to $1,126,000. Now, all of our savings and money has fees along the way. So I added in an average cost of 2% in fees. And now we're down to $843,000. And if I figure in inflation at 3%, you're at $299,678. Where did your $14,682,000 go? $14,186,303. Where did it go? See, my friends, my whole approach to what I do, people ask me, Tom, what do you do? I work in the financial services industry, but my focus is on avoiding losses. Did you hear what I said? Avoiding losses and not chasing interest rates. Because I talk to people about becoming your own bank and incorporating the banking concepts into your family, multi-generational. So someday you'll be grandma and grandpa, and then you'll have a son and a daughter and a grandson and a granddaughter, etc. So we're talking multiple generations. So let's say that the debt portion of this thing, that we lower the debt from 34% down to 10%. Okay, your mortgage. But the other thing is people say to me, well, Tom, I just need to make a better rate of return. But when I said avoiding losses and not chasing interest rates. So if I go down here to the net earnings rate and I make it 10 instead of 5, what did that do? Well, it took us to $1,064,000 if we could make 10% compounded, uninterrupted rate of return on our money. And I don't believe that's even possible in doing that. So I'm going to put it back at 5. And we're back to our $299,000. But I'm going to go to the debt number and I'm going to change it down to 10%. So if we change the debt to 10%, now we're at $1,509,000. See, how much money is actually lost through debt is immeasurable in the way that we do things. So now I want to go to taxes, and let's say that based on how we save our money, long term, we're able to lower the taxes to 20%. So now I'm at $1,761,000, and I want to be aware of fees. I'm going to take away the fees, and we're at $1,952,000 in what we're talking about. So it's really crazy that we can go from a couple of $100,000 to almost $2 million simply by avoiding losses. Now I'm going to take this away. We're going to come back to this, and I will talk about this in the future. But we're going to take it away and we're going to stop the sharing and come back here. And I just want to wrap things up because I want to make sure that you're aware of CFO-project.com. This is really about education, folks. It's about getting an education that is verifiable, mathematically provable, mathematically correct. That's what makes a difference in the future. So if you're talking to somebody and they're making all these assumptions on what's going to happen in the next 35 years, which is what typical financial planning is, I do traditional planning. This is the kind of planning people did back in the 20s and 30s of the last century. You know, this is traditional. Financial planning did not appear until in the early 1980s of the last century. And it only came to being about the high interest rates. In other words, in 1981, when mortgages went to 16% interest for a 30-year fixed rate mortgage, the prime rate with the government went to 21.5%. And if you had a business loan, you were looking at probably a 23.5% annual interest rate. We were on the road to absolute destruction through the decade of the 80s. And then all of a sudden, Alan Greenspan come along, who was a gold theorist that somehow somebody got in his head and changed his thinking in the way he approached things. And he took the interest rates in 1991 and 92 and dropped them all the way down to 3%. And that's another story all of its own. I'm not going to go into it here today because I've blabbered enough. But I just wanted to show you that the real potential that lies inside of each of us is there. But you have to change the way you think. You have to change the thinking. There's 6 inches between your ears. This is God's plan. God's plan was to prosper us, bring happiness into our lives, success, etc., etc. That was God's plan. But people's eyeglasses have got muddied up and scratched because of the experiences of life and listening to the sniops around us, our circle of friends, that we don't filter out some of them because they're negative. If you're around negative people, you're going to tend to be negative, and you're going to have a very, very slim chance of reaching the real potential that you have. And that's what I'm trying to do, is open that potential up. It's about thinking rightly with integrity and character, empowering people spiritually, because that power is immeasurable on what can be created. Get my book, The Family Money Farm, The CFO Project. Go to cfo-project.com, put in your name and email address. You'll get an email and the ability to download both of those books, The Family Money Farm, The CFO Project, which was published by Dorrance Publishing, and the other one is an ebook called Financial Mastery Coaching, The Blueprint. Take advantage of the cfo-project.com website, because when you sign up to get the books free, you're going to have an offer for $37 to receive several $1,000s worth of value and benefits, which includes some more books, 2 one-hour videos, and an hour of my time. My goal is to change your future, to help you find the real potential that lies inside each and every one of us. God bless you all. I will see you here again in a few days, and we'll be back to continue our story and leading you to where you really want to go.